Hello and welcome to TV Chef Fantasy League. I'm your host and commissioner, Sierra Cato, here with my co-host, Mike Cabalon. And we got Iffy Wadiway on remote in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Not to dox you.
Down from the Big Cut.
Wow.
The Big Cut.
Is that right?
That would actually be a sick nickname if that's what they called it.
Big Cut?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they call it that, but I've been calling it that.
Okay, you better spread the word while you're there.
I would buy a T-shirt that said "The Big Cut" on it.
Yeah, and it's just like Connecticut, and then a big scissors like going over it, and you're like,
yeah.
whoa, what are they going to? Are they like splicing Connecticut?
It's either they start making T-shirts or they up their number of like circumcisions per capita. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Either way,
I think both.
That's the fast track to getting the nickname "The Big Cut."
The Big Cut, and it's just an arrow pointing down.
Big Cut.
Amazing. Well, we're all here. What's fun is Iffy. Well, everybody listening has the crisp audio of Iffy. We get a little fun like call-in audio, so he sounds like he's calling
Sounds like
in
we're
on
doing
the radio.
like AM sports radio.
Pretty cool. First caller, long-time listener.
You don't listen to the radio, do you?
Not sports.
Yeah.
But okay, we got some write-ins. I know. So just up top, I do want to lay out. We have 2 shows going right now.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Obviously,
It's
we
a lot
got
of show.
Great British Bake Off, aka Great British Baking Show in the States. So we're watching that. It's week 1, Cake Week. So we're going to talk about that first. Then second, we're going to finish it up with MasterChef Dynamic Duos semifinals. So don't worry, all you MasterChef fans. We are still going to cover the rest of the season, but don't worry. Also, Great British Baking Show fans, we're fucking
no matter who you are, just don't worry. Go ahead and relax.
Everything. We cover
You're
everything.
in good hands.
Can't wait. But we did get some write-ins from our
got
pots and
so much
pans.
write-in stuff. Do you want to go first with the emails? Should I go first with Instagram?
Wait, I didn't see any emails.
This is sort of I didn't look at the emails either.
Okay,
this
let
is
me try.
we've never talked about how we should split these duties. It just sort of informally became you check the emails and I check the Instagram.
Yeah, basically. So you do Instagram first because
If he
I'm
does
logged
nothing.
out of the emails.
If he travels to the Big
If
Cut,
he is in the Big Cut, he can't be checking emails in the Big Cut.
he's the eye candy. He brings the viewers in.
That's true. This is true.
Okay, I'll start with the Instagram stuff. Potterpan Sheila wrote in and reminded us who the original Ian from Belfast was.
Thank God.
Bingate. Do you remember Bingate?
No, because I don't think I've watched
What?
that one.
Really?
I like the first time I watched was last season for Great British Baking Show.
I'm sure we talked about this, but I'm still in shock.
What,
currently.
he's just a big guy?
It feels
oh,
like.
sorry. Oh, just that I am new to this.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm new to
Iffy,
this.
do you remember Bingate?
No, I do not know. Oh.
Okay. The big thing with Bingate, I don't remember what season this was. A hardcore fan would know. A hardcore Potterpan would know. But there was a season where the challenge, I forgot what the challenge was, but Ian from Belfast wanted to make a baked Alaska, which is a frozen dessert. And another contestant took his dessert out of the freezer and it melted. And then he got so frustrated that he threw it in the trash, or the bin, as they call it in the UK.
Gate.
And so,
In the bin.
Oh,
and then
I do vaguely remember this.
yes, because it was like a huge controversy because everyone's like, that fucking bitch got him eliminated because he got eliminated. He presented nothing and they sent him home that week.
Oof.
And then the woman who pulled his stuff out of the freezer like didn't show up the next week. And they're like, she got sick. She's out of the competition now. But everyone's conspiracy hat. It's been debunked since. Everyone on the internet has done their research and people have done interviews. The producers have come out and said it. The contestants have come out and said it. They're like, it was the edit. It was out of the freezer for like less than 30 seconds total. He got mad. That was like the repercussions of his own actions.
Really like he was like a little too fast.
That is apparently what happened in real life. But if you go back and you watch the episode, it looks undeniably like he was sabotaged by a fellow contestant.
Sure.
So that when the current Ian of the current season is like, I want justice for Ians from Ireland, he's talking about Bingate.
Got it. And the other contestant who took it out of the freezer was actually sick.
I would assume so.
She wasn't just ashamed.
Yeah. Or just like bullied off the show. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know.
Everyone, that's Series 5 or 2014, and the other contestant was Diana Beard.
Diana Beard.
Thank you.
There we go.
So we don't have the amazing thing.
Thank you
Gabe.
so much.
Okay, there's so many other pots and pans who wrote in. Okay, Potterpan Duffy sent us a New Yorker article from Ruby. Who there have been 2 Rubies on British Bake Off. One is Indian, and the other one was like a teenage girl. I think she was like in her 20s when she was on the show.
Seems like a young name.
Yeah. But Ruby wrote an article for The New Yorker about her experience on the show, a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff. I read it. It's really, really interesting.
Oh, okay.
Highly recommend it. If I knew how to link it in the show notes, I would.
Yeah,
but I
I'll put
don't.
it in. I
Okay,
think
great.
we can do that.
Just quickly, here are the things that I learned from reading the article. sort of one of Ruby's like main theses is that like no one gets on the show by accident. There's like this illusion that it's like, oh, I just like baking and I got on the show.
Sure,
but she's
it
like,
seems-
there are people who apply like 8, 9, 10 times to be on this show.
I mean, they said thousands applied, 12
Right, exactly.
selected.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So she walks us through the casting process. That was insane. She said that half of the contestants go to the bar after filming, the other half like go back to their room and like study baking stuff. And
my
she's like,
God.
no one who went to the bar afterward made it to the final week.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I want to see the breakdown of who actually does, because does it impact?
Yeah.
But, you know, some people can drink and wake up and do it. man.
Some people can.
But I can't.
Yeah, yeah. And I just generally got the vibe that like the producers, it feels like American reality TV show producers. They're very they're like a little predatory. Do you know what I mean? They're a little bit just like, well, what's going to make the best television? She had this really interesting thing where she talks about how like she messed up, I think like week 1 or something, and she's like, the producers just have like a feel for it, like they know when like something's about to erupt, and so you're like having this bad moment, and then suddenly there's like extra camera and extra sound on you. And she was like, Mel or Sue, I don't remember which one, but one of the original hosts like did this really nice thing where she came in and she just started like cursing, like doing like an improv bit that felt like hosting, but she was like, she would curse so that the footage would be unusable.
Oh, wow.
And then Ruby, in writing this article, was like, I went back and I asked her about it, and she's like, yeah, my other move was to like talk shit about some of like the pharmaceutical companies that like run advertising
yeah,
so that
that'll
they
do it.
can't use the footage. I'm like, that's really smart.
Sure, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
really like dope move on Mel or Sue's part.
Sure.
Is to be like, let me protect this contestant
Oh, yeah.
by
yeah.
telling all the camera crew to go away, basically.
Yeah, fascinating that they even have to, you know, be a little protective like that.
Yeah. So great article. Okay, Potterpan Amber wrote in and sent us a TikTok from someone on TikTok named Hannah Annie X, who's doing a series called Butchering Bake Off. And I didn't watch the whole first episode, but she started doing it this week. And she's like, I've been baking for 2 weeks, and this is my
Whoa.
attempt to do the technical bake on
Oh, my
every.
God. Oh, my God. The
Yeah.
fondant fancies?
The fondant fancies, which we'll get
That's
to. We'll save it.
hard.
But I wanted to plug that. Okay, here's the big one, and maybe we can touch more on this on in the back half of the episode. Potterpan Alana wrote in and linked us to Zach of Zach and Michelle on the current season of MasterChef.
yeah.
Did a Reddit AMA,
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
and we learned
that.
so much. So you know what? Let's actually save that. Let's come back
Okay,
around to that.
That'll be for the latter half.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Okay.
Are those?
Wow.
Yeah. Whoa.
Um,
Those are IG ones?
Yeah, that has me thinking a lot.
yeah. Save up your questions now, and I'll try and answer them vis-a-vis Zach later in the episode.
Hell yeah. One right into the email. Got this not too long ago, so reading it live. We'll find out if we can get it. from Pan.
Oh no, it's racist.
From Pan Dan. Yeah. Oh shoot. Looks great already. Pan Dan.
They identified
wrote
as a
in-
pan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrote Pan in parentheses after signing
Thank
off.
you, Pan Dan.
Basically said, wanted to write in about a company called Bake with a Legend, where they started doing personal baking classes with former Great British Bake Off contestants. Did we know about this?
Good.
I guess but then when the pandemic hit, they quickly pivoted to doing online classes. So, Pan Dan says, my wife and I did a class with one of our favorite bakers, Dan Beasley Harding.
Whoa.
And it was fantastic. Production quality was great. They have producers helping move things along. Wow. Dan was engaging this former baker contestant. And yeah, it sounds like a really personal touch. So yeah, interesting.
That's a really
What a
good
testimonial.
career path, I think. If you're like, well, okay, so Ruby talks about this in her article about like the casting process, and like they try and weed out people who like want to be famous. Like the show still has to feel like I'm just an amateur baker, right?
Yeah, that's the
Even though it's like the
deal.
biggest show in the
Yeah.
world, you still don't want people who like want it too badly.
Right.
But that being said, if you do really well on the show, you kind of just become like a celebrity, and you can like, you know, make cookbooks and like host shows and
Sure.
stuff. And I think that's like a really
Oh,
good. Hearing about this makes me think of the NFL has a thing called like broadcaster boot camp, and it's like if you're one of those guys who's in the NFL for like 2 or 3 years and then you injured yourself out and you can't play anymore, but you still want to like be part of the system,
Yeah.
you can go to like broadcaster boot camp and they teach you how to like do play-by-play and like be a commentator, so you can go back to your hometown and just be like the NFL correspondent. And I'm like, that's a really
gig.
promising career path.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
This is also actually Dan also said thought this might be a great prize for the winner of the season's league.
Ooh, good call.
But yeah, so
Good call,
might-
Pandan. Iffy, were you going to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I was just agreeing with you that is a great career path.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, you know, there's so many ways that, but I totally agree too that like if you have somebody who It seems like they really pick these contestants well. They all seem very genuine, and that almost just comes off better than somebody who's trying to put it on to then become or like trying to game the system to then become famous or whatever. But it's almost like the person who doesn't want it is the one who, of course, everybody gravitates towards.
Yeah.
But yes, very exciting. Thank you everybody for writing in. We have I guess, Mike, did you say any news or something?
Yes. Yes. There's some news for us and some news for the world. The news for us is the same news you got last week, which is that we have merch. So go to maxfunstore.com.
Yeah.
Again, there's not enough time. We have to cover 2 shows this week. We'll show you the stuff later. But
It's
if you go to
awesome.
maxfunstore.com, you can see all of our new merch. There's stuff for the winners of your league. There's stuff for the losers of your league.
Hell yeah.
There's stuff for the commissioner in your league, and there's stuff that just has their logo on it if you just like the show and you're not playing along at home.
Yeah, hats and stuff you can put on your lawn so everybody has to know they're a loser. Love it. Love it. And also check your emails.
Yes. Okay.
Remember, because we still haven't heard back from the people. I guess we selected one.
We're hundreds of names down the list. Not hundreds, but we keep churning through people. We're like, if we don't hear from you guys time.
It's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Because we need to start, we are already scoring, so we're going to retroactively score when somebody adds a
new
rule. But it's just the sooner the better. So make sure you check your emails more than you usually do.
Once again, if you're just joining us and you didn't listen to the draft last week, every year we do a fundraiser called Max Fund Drive, and we ask for new members. And if we hit a certain amount of members, we do a certain thing. And one of our things was we'll select a member at random to create a new rule for an upcoming season. And we said, that's going to be this season of Bake Off.
Hell yeah.
And we keep emailing people to ask for a new rule. And we keep getting ghosted.
Yeah, everyone's too busy for us. But it's okay. You're not. You who are listening, you are checking your email.
Thank you to our loyal pots and pans. Okay, this is the biggest news, I think. We've talked a lot on this show about how we've always wanted to eat on Top Chef.
Yeah.
Whether that's Restaurant Wars
those
or they're cooking for 100 people or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, the production company, Magical Elves, just put a Google form online. If you go to Instagram, Magical Elves Instagram right now, in their bio is just a link to a Google form. They're like, hey, do you want to eat on Top Chef? And were it not for the fact that it's in the Carolinas this year.
Should we all fly to the Carolinas?
That's part of me is should I sign up and just if they select me, should I just fly out?
A trip? I mean, I've done more absurd things probably.
For less, probably, too.
Yeah, and I've never been out there. I think I had a layover one time, so I don't know. Iffy, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, let's make it happen.
Okay.
Well, we'll check out this Google form, but also if you're actually in the Carolinas, then you have even more
if you're a Potter
reason
fan in the Carolinas, sign up. Magical Elves. It's just a Google Doc. I was like,
Amazing.
Was there not a more formal way to do it? It's just a Google Doc to get your
Google
info.
Doc form. Great.
Okay, last little bit of news. We every year we struggle with what show to cover after Great British Bake Off because there's kind of no shows in the winter until we get to Top Chef in the spring. But they did announce that Culinary Class Wars is getting a season 2.
Okay.
And it premieres in December.
Whoa.
So that is an option. Now, I will say, again, as part of Max Fun Drive, we did promise that our listenership in total would get to vote on what show we cover next.
Right.
But that is going to be one of the options because I think that could be interesting.
People love that show.
Did you watch it?
No.
Iffy, did you watch Culinary Class Wars?
No, I didn't. But I remember how into it you were.
It's a really good show. And what I think would be fun for us is that there are 100 contestants.
Well, that was the problem, I guess.
It's a problem, but now it's that's not that different from doing an NFL draft. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Right.
If we do, our draft episode's always long because we talk about it and stuff.
Sure.
If we do it like an NFL draft where it's you get 30 to 60 seconds to make your pick.
Oh, wow.
You pick a name and then you move on to the next person and you can just get through 100 people in less than an hour. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe we do a 4-hour episode. What do you guys think?
So that's an option. There's also still, I haven't watched Next Gen Chef. Is that the new one on Netflix?
Oh, that's the young people. Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah.
Could be cool.
That would be interesting. It is a new show, so who knows? But it does seem like something that could be huge.
Yeah. It's harder, and this is part of the reason we didn't do Culinary Class Wars last year. It's harder to do new shows because we don't know how to score it. We don't know what gets a point.
Okay.
Whereas Culinary Class Wars, I'm I've watched it.
Right, you would know.
And with 100 contestants, you can more or less just be if they win a challenge, they get a point. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's do they move on or do they not? Because every episode is just you're versus this person, you cook, whoever wins, wins.
Okay, yeah, that seems simple.
It's closer to football.
Love it.
We love football here.
We're big footballers. Okay, great. Well, write in if you have any particular opinions on that. But is that all the news?
I think that's all the news I
have. All
have.
right, then we can dive right into Great British Bake Off / Baking Show Week 1 Cake Week. Can't wait. First off, how are you both feeling about getting back into Great British Bake Off?
Incredible.
Oh man, it feels like a return to form. Everything feels good. It really feels. Here's the thing. Let's call a spade a spade.
Are you allowed to say that?
The elephant in the room. How?
I said, are you allowed to say that?
Yeah. As a spade myself, I would call a spade, and I'm gonna just call it as I see it. And our biggest shows are Top Chef and Great British Bake Off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so seeing the excitement and seeing just the cut caliber, it just feels like we're locked back in a way that we are MasterChef is fine, but once again I did that thing, and I think we talked about this last year, where you go from watching a MasterChef and then you go to watching a Great British Bake Off or Top Chef, and you just see the difference. And it's interesting because something like Great British Bake Off, it's not a different class of chef Top Chef is, and it goes into the production and what is being sold. And I think we talked about this before, where it shows, and the through line between Bake Off and Top Chef is that these are shows that are about cooking, that respect the art of cooking. That is,
there's not a lot of conniving gameplay. It's just cook the best.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can tell it's a show created for people who are passionate about what's being cooked, where Fox is created for people who's looking for the reality aspect of it. Yeah. And I think that's never been true than going through these 3 cycles of Top Chef, 2 cycles of Great British Bake Off. And, it's fun, but everything I have to say later in this episode about MasterChef has to do with the people and how they treated their partners. And everything I have to say about Bake Off has to be about what they did in the kitchen, in the bake, and that, I think that's just kind of the needle that we're trying to thread. And I think something to consider in adding any new shows. This is now I'm talking to the Potter Pants. Something to consider in picking a new show where it seems clear that the game itself runs better when it is a show that is about the cooking itself and not the people. Yeah. And it's never just been more clear than this first episode off rip, because man, this is truly like watching someone have a terrible opening game for one of the people. I'll just say it. Hassan.
My first pick, everybody.
It was mine too. I really wanted him. We had high hopes.
It was a big surprise, but yeah, for sure. You know it the minute he's scooping up the roll cake with his bare fingers.
I was gonna say, okay, if you said that it's like a show that's more about the cooking than the people, and it sucks when it's about the people. I had this thought in I don't remember what year, 2003. I remember they tried to reboot American Gladiators. And as a kid who grew up in the 90s, I fucking loved American Gladiators. So it was bring it on. But then they tried to make it like a modern reality competition show where they would do a little package and be like, this is Darcy. She's from Connecticut and she does sports in her spare time. And also she does this thing for her community. I'm like, I don't care. I want to see her shoot a Nerf gun. Do you know what I mean? Got it. Just show me them competing. I don't need their backstory.
Right. Yeah. It's but then I also think there is that in this, but it's almost like the balance of it, right? It's if they're leaning too hard on that, then maybe it becomes disingenuous, but then you have to have a little bit of that because most likely they're going to bring it into their bakes or their dishes.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you have to lead with the bakes and the cooks, right? And then if that begets a story, then great. But it can't be story first and then, oh, by the way, we're all making the same dish,
Right. Now, that being said, I will say Hassan's little package, his little backstory thing, I think they did him dirty because all they showed him doing was doing axe throwing, throwing a little hatchet. And it was, I guess in the UK, you can't throw a real hatchet. In America, they let you throw a blade. They hand you a blade. They're like, here, go crazy.
Yeah. I was confused what that was.
It was a plastic.
It was plastic
axe.
and that works somehow.
A plax, if you will.
Plax.
But
plax throwing.
In the 2 seconds, they're like, here's what he does in his spare time. It's him and his friends, and he throws an axe, and it not only doesn't hit the target, it bounces back.
Right.
He's so bad at it.
I mean, in America, it would have killed you. Would have bounced back and sliced your head off. But also, I mean, they did show him in the lab, and it was like everything on paper seemed right. I mean, he clearly had a bad day or two,
Yes.
and that's tough. And it's hard to be on camera and all that shit, right? But they did show him in the lab using like a pipetter. I'm like, okay, this guy's
Sure.
doing like
I'm
what
just
you
saying,
do with the pipetting of the icing.
As an editor,
How did this happen?
if you know he's gonna go home, at least show him making a cool
Aw.
shot with the axe. Don't show the one where he absolutely beefs
They
it.
could never. They could never. Yeah, I do think he got it probably a tough edit. He did seem like a real sweet guy.
Yeah.
Like I think he got it like a personality like 10 out
Yeah,
of 10,
yeah, yeah.
but unfortunately the bakes were negative. Damn it, Hassan. No, it's okay. We love him. But yeah, truly struggling over here. Thought I was going to get a fresh start after MasterChef, and the answer
really
is
just
no.
starting on the wrong foot. Yeah.
The answer is no. But we could make it back. But yes, very excited about this. I also felt similarly. It's like we're back in. Ooh, and it's like it's a long episode. Like I forget that British Bake Off. It goes for like an
long.
hour. There's no
Yeah.
commercials, right? Because Netflix.
It's hardcore.
I mean, now they have ads, but you
Yeah.
know, even without commercials, it's like over an hour. And yeah, it's pretty
Do you
intense.
get ads on Netflix? You're not paying for no ads?
I guess I am not paying. No, I guess I'm paying for ads right now, but you can obviously.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
think because I'm doing a shared and like I
Oh,
didn't
sure.
do the tier or whatever happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Are you
you're
an
getting
ads guy or are you
yeah.
paying for no ads?
So, I on Netflix, yeah, I'm paying for no ads.
Yeah, same.
Got it. We're all pretty doing well over here.
I'm kind of conflicted because as someone in the industry, I like watching commercials because I'd say a good 70 and 80% of the time I'm like, oh, hey, it's my friend. You know
Oh
what I
my
mean?
God, yeah, that's true. Love to see a
Yeah.
friend. It's also kind of nice to take that break and
Sure.
like, you know, go to the bathroom or whatever you need
Yeah.
to do.
Pull your food out of the microwave, you
yeah,
know?
so I'm all for it. But also it's kind of silly just that, you know, the streaming thing has come back around.
we
but
just,
that's another
yeah,
conversation.
well, okay, well, that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast. But speaking of fun ads, we opened with a sketch that kind of is like a Jurassic
God, I
Park
forgot about
situation.
this fucking thing.
But it's funny because it's like, okay, so last season, I remember now, they did the Barbie one in the first episode.
Yeah.
And then this one, they did Jurassic Park. So it's like, I guess it was coinciding with
Jurassic
World,
World
which I did watch.
Yeah.
Rebirth. Love the dinosaurs. But
Did you like that movie?
well, I went in with like pretty
Careful,
you know,
I wrote it. No, I'm
middling expectations, but I did like it because love the dinosaurs they picked. They picked the Mosasaurus, who I love, and then the Quetzalcoatlus. I'm like, oh my.
Oh,
gosh,
I get it.
you know
You're a
what I mean?
dweeb.
I love these dinosaurs they picked, and I'm all about the dinosaurs going in. And the story is sort of like, you know, but honestly, I liked it.
Wow.
I had a good time. I
Okay,
saw it
once
in
again,
theaters.
different pod. This is not Maximum Film, different podcast, but I have a drastically
I mean,
differing
it
opinion.
obviously, yeah, it had some story flaws for sure, but I had a great time. Anyway, back to the back to the sketch.
Okay, I do want to say this. Okay, there's some movies where you're like, why did it cost that much? And there's some movies where you're like, I can see the budget on the screen, right?
Oh.
This whole sketch, I was like, I can see the budget on the screen.
Okay.
I'm like, this cost so much money.
They had to get the big dinosaur thing in with the blue
Practical
eyes.
dinosaur
oh,
effect.
My goodness.
It wasn't CG. They got a guy in a big ass suit. They put pants on the suit.
Right. They had to add the big blue jeans.
A real Jeep. Do you know what I
They
mean?
got Jeep, and Prue's makeup looked amazing.
Oh, incredible
Her
with the
makeup
beard.
looked just like Dr. John Hammond.
Yeah.
And then we had like what Paul Hollywood in a dinosaur suit, which that's probably
So
not
they
that
so they bought
expensive.
2 dinosaur
Yeah.
costumes.
But yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, they're definitely up and up. I think the budget is going higher because they're so popular.
Yeah.
That's exactly the same thing I was thinking. I was like, wow, they really, spared no expense on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for
All
them.
right,
you know,
yeah.
a global show. Yeah, Noel had his spiral blue sweater on, just acknowledging Noel's sweaters this season.
Oh,
Playing
right.
that
Okay,
game.
that's right.
Spiral
Yeah.
blue. He got eaten by the dinosaur. All right.
But that was another thing. They had like mannequin legs for Noel to get eaten by a dinosaur.
Sure,
You know, like
Noel
this,
doesn't do his own stunts.
so much money here.
I mean, I'm in the middle of the field. Yeah, outdoor shoot. Wow, what
They had to make daylight. Oh God.
Do not get me started. But yes, beautiful stuff. Don't know if it was worth it, but but what a way to start the season or the collection. All right, so
Series.
Oh,
No, is it
series?
collection?
Oh well, they call it series, yeah. But then in Netflix, it's called collection.
I think that's feels like an American trying to remember a British word. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe it's
like they don't call them seasons; they call them collections.
One of those.
Yeah.
But yes, I've seen series as well. Okay. So we open with the signature challenge. Well, first we see all these bakers. There's 12. They said thousands applied, as we discussed.
Yep. Yeah.
Kind of cool to see the people we drafted, in the flesh, coming into the tent.
It's always fun because we only ever see their pictures and read their bios, and then to hear their voice and be like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of
That's what they sound
voices.
like.
Sure, great accents, of course. But yeah, so for the first challenge, the signature challenge, they're making a roll cake. Saw that coming. I feel like they always kind of make a roll cake at some point, or I've seen roll cake ones in the past.
This was one of Ruby's things in her article. She was like, at this point, there's been something like 25,000 bakes. They've baked everything. Do you know what I mean?
So it's not guaranteed.
Yeah. You kind of got to just accept that at some point you're going to have to make the same thing again,
Fascinating. Yes. And so this roll cake thing, it seems like, okay, good. So people were bringing in their designs. We had Ian, who of course is the Belfast Ian, but also he's the one with the big Instagram that has all the cool
which they
sourdoughs.
didn't really touch on in his little intro
They showed it
package.
briefly. I feel like they don't want to be like, and this guy's famous, because
Right.
it's going to kind of draw the curtain on who these people are. They're not just like you. They have big businesses, but yes, he obviously made that really cool university Swiss roll, which with he was tracing over his drawing, which is
so
cool.
intricate.
Really showed that.
That's a big kick down the door and just be like, listen, motherfuckers, I'm the big dog here. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah,
it sets the bar high,
times, kind of.
Yeah.
Then we had. I'm just gonna go over each of them and
there's 12 people to get through. We got to blast through.
Puiman, lemon curd matcha cream Swiss roll because of her lemon tea that she would have a lot in Hong Kong as a teen. But she was the one saying she doesn't eat sweets. She just bakes them and tastes them and doesn't eat it, which is like, okay, I guess you can't eat them all.
Yeah.
But a lot of discipline there. Leighton did. Down here, Leighton went to the Amalfi with his husband, Amalfi Coast. So this inspired his lemon glade Swiss roll. But he forgot to sift his flour, and that was really stressful.
Yeah.
But a little nerves at the tent. He seemed like he really knew what he was doing, which we kind of got from his bio.
Yeah.
But those nerves, we understand. I'm sure to wear off. Aaron did his beehive design Swiss roll.
So pretty.
So funny when Prue removed the extra beehive, and he was like, okay.
You can see it on his face.
Wow.
They're like, it looks better like that. And he's like,
Yeah, because he probably took so long to cut that thing, so precise.
Well, that's what was so funny just looking at it, because I was like, because I couldn't tell if he didn't have time or if that was intended. But I was just looking at it like, huh.
Yeah, what was that?
Oh, so you agree with the judges? You think it should have been without the little honeycomb thing?
I think it should have been over the whole thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it seemed like I was looking at it unsure if it was, unfinished.
Right.
Or
okay, that's fair.
that was as intended.
It felt like it was like a napkin ring. Do you know what I mean? Like only around the middle.
Oh,
of
interesting.
exactly.
Yeah, it was a portion. Yeah, so interesting, but obviously very, precisely cut. Hassan did his blue roses design, and
kinda.
Yeah, it was
kind of
the
does
one.
blue roses.
It was the caramel that didn't cool in time, and so it was a mess. And he was trying to scoop it with the fingers.
Oh god!
I was like, oh man, first pick, man, come on. But it was tough.
Yeah, when
Flavor
I saw
stunning.
that,
Yes.
just melt into one gloopy.
Poor
blob.
guy. Yeah, he tried his best.
Terrible.
They said it looked like it'd been dropped out of a tree. Oh,
Yeah.
tough.
This happens in fantasy football sometimes too, where you're this is the number one draft, and then he gets injured in the first game, and you're like, well,
sure. Well,
had everything riding on that guy.
We tried.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Tom, who was kind of a later pick for us, did his tartan Swiss roll with his family's tartan, and it looked amazing.
Once again, Tom really set the bar and was like, I'm a big dog. And I was like, oh, fuck. I really underestimated him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. He was totally not I just, didn't have much on his Instagram, all that stuff. But yeah, pretty great. Really good swirl. And then, it's funny. Allison was like, I think I'm 16% Scottish. And Tom was like, that might be more than me. But he's making the time.
That was great.
That was great.
A solid line.
Yeah.
Toby did his rhubarb and custard Swiss roll, inspired by his mom's rhubarb custard. Didn't know if his mom's probably still alive, so I didn't sure.
We can't. Yeah,
but
it has to be a verifiable death.
Yeah, which we have a couple of those, so we'll discuss. But we got a little on his background. He does a blue belt. He has a blue belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He kind of had a thing where he could take out Noel or something, and Noel was like, "You can't kill someone who's already dead."
Not to be the little meathead's little dork.
Here we go.
You got to be it.
I kind of chuckled at this the blue belt, because blue belt is nothing to cough at. But just so everyone's just following along, the belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is white, yellow, blue, and
Okay.
then this is where it gets purple, and I believe it's brown, red, black. So it's like,
Sure,
so,
sure.
so
He's in
like
the
it was
middle
like
there.
very much like he's a blue belt, but like blue belt is like, once again, I only made it to, I would have been yellow, but I left before then.
Oh yeah, I would have had a black belt if I hadn't quit.
So he's
Now, see,
stick
I'm
with
not
it
saying
longer.
that though. I'm not saying that though. I'm saying that based on the timing that I know
Okay.
that I spent. I was right about to take my the kind of promotional test, and then I didn't have the money to afford Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I was like 21.
I get
and
that.
I didn't have
I get
just
that.
an influx of cash.
Yeah.
But once again, like I said, it's nothing to scoff at, but like the way they presented it was like, whoa.
This is
Right,
insane.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Whereas it would be the equivalent of being like, he's in his local rec league of dodgeball or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not a professional.
It was like he's in his second year towards his doctorate. You know, it's like,
Right,
yeah,
right.
like we get it, but
You're working on it.
what
Sure,
you're trying
sure.
to put toward, yeah, you're working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's kind of funny because I mean, I feel like a lot of people probably don't have anything else. Like, it's like, what if, okay, it's like my job and then I'm baking. Why do I have to have a third fucking thing I'm doing? you know?
Yeah.
So I do feel like
Well, also,
they're
I
probably
think-
scrounging for things. Yeah.
Well, I don't even think it's scrounging for things, but the way British humor works, I think it's almost is them purposely making a big deal out of it, knowing
Oh,
it
I
was
see.
like
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
like, oh,
That's
he's
funny.
just kind of like when they were like, and Dylan skates and shows him just
Right,
doing
right,
absolutely
yeah.
nothing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That was
that's
great.
right. That's right.
Okay,
But the
got
difference
it,
between
got it.
Dylan and Hassan is that Dylan made it really far in the competition. Hassan gets kicked off in the first episode, and they're still like,
Oh, for his axe throwing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can sauce it up a little bit.
Yeah,
You can
they've
sauce
gotta
it up a little bit.
cut him some slack. Next is Jessica, who did coconut and grapefruit Swiss roll, inspired by her sister, still alive. So
Still
but they're
alive.
best friends, or the close friends. And then we get her drag king background,
Oliver Clothes Off.
Yes.
Perfect.
Pretty good.
Perfect name.
Yeah.
And
Another thing, no note.
No notes.
Yeah.
Look great. And then, yes, the Swiss roll was pretty successful. Flavor's great. Texture a little off, but she was crushing it. Next is Natalia, who did a Ukrainian passion petal Swiss roll. Looked really good. I mean, the passion fruit,
Yeah.
beautiful. Born and raised in Ukraine, now in Yorkshire, has a 4-year-old daughter. They really liked her design. Looked like it was really embroidered and was delicious, but the sponge was a little overbaked.
That's okay.
Not too bad. Jasmine did a lemon and raspberry Swiss roll. And that one was inspired by a great aunt who would always make a lemon roulade. We didn't get whether a great aunt was alive.
I mean, great aunt's pretty old.
Pretty old, but she's young.
We don't know.
She's young.
That's true.
She's the
Yeah,
youngest
okay.
contestant at 23
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
But very good lemon, a little over on the bake. So yeah, wasn't sure about that, but also I think wasn't sure about that one. So
Okay,
I didn't
that's
give
okay.
her, but she gets some points for other things. Leslie gets lemons, did a lemons and daisies Swiss roll. Her favorite gal is her granddaughter Mabel, who is her biggest fan.
Mm-hmm.
They liked the flavor. They thought the swirl was a little too flat. She's one of 2 hairdressers, and the next hairdresser is Nadia with her cherry amour Swiss roll. Nadia has actually her father is a chef. We learned.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so pretty
She's
cool.
gonna be one to watch out for, I think.
Yeah, she's mine. But her splits. Her Swiss roll did
Not right
split,
now, but later.
unfortunately. But she covered it up with some design, which was nice. But yes. So that's the signature challenge. We don't really have like a point system for the signature challenge because they don't really pick one. But
Yeah.
some of the people they really liked was the tartan one, which was Tom's. Obviously Ian's, who had the cool university design. Yeah. So I feel like this Jessica's was good. Yeah, there was some standouts, but still anyone's game.
Yeah.
Except for Hassan's. Okay, next. The technical challenge. So they're
Now,
making
this one was wild.
it was crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Iffy, give us your reaction to when they unveil it under the
Oh, I
cam.
feel like, we hear this said in many cooking competition show oftentimes where it's like, this is the hardest challenge that we
Right.
ever had.
Right.
And this one, I was like, this one seems tough.
Yeah.
Like, just off rip, and anytime, like, this is a Top Chef level challenge.
Yeah.
Where they're like,
Yeah.
you have to taste it to figure it out.
Yes, exactly. That was the big thing, was the format of just going like, no recipe, and we're
Yeah.
going to give you a bunch of fake ingredients.
Right,
And I was
some
like,
fake outs.
Jesus Christ.
I know, just to taste it, and I was surprised they even came out looking
Yeah.
remotely like it with the little bubble on top and
Yeah,
stuff. You
yeah.
know, Yeah, pretty hard, especially with the fact that like the flavor, it is crazy how hard, from the outset when you get the answer, oh, it's raspberry. You're like, oh yeah, that tastes like raspberry. But if
Right.
you're not given it, it is really hard to like blind taste test
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So I see why people chose
Even on Top
Rose.
Chef, like those
Yeah.
professional fucking James Beard winning chefs, they'll do the blind taste test and they can't identify an ingredient.
Stuff that seems very straightforward. But
Yeah.
it's hard.
It's hard.
because we never really do that in real life.
Yeah.
So we really love the fondant. Actually, do you guys like fondant? Are you guys
No.
big almond people?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Sorry.
interesting.
I love an almond as an almond, but like marzipan,
Pretty different.
fondant, it's so I'm not into it.
Wow,
I do not
iffy?
fucks with it.
Yeah, I feel like this fondant is different than the usual one that we have, which is the marshmallow fondant.
Mm.
So, and
Oh.
I don't really know if I've had this one. This one seemed like I might like it more than marshmallow fondant.
Sure, this was like kind of maybe a little harder. Like it's like a marzipan, like what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Like,
So-
like- and I love a marzipan, so
Yeah,
I'm actually a
basic-
pro fondant.
Wow.
Yeah, I asked Em about it, and she was like, "Yeah, this is a different fondant that you pour on, and then it hardens after
Right.
the fact,
Okay.
versus marshmallow fondant, which you roll out and then you
Right.
kind of lay it
Got
on.
That's
the
like the cake makers.
That's more on the cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this one would have such a strong almond taste. I think it would be hard to put it
Yeah.
on just any cake.
Right.
But fascinating. Okay. So, yeah. So basically, it is a really difficult challenge. Most people struggle. They also have to make 9 that are all the same, which is like, I didn't really clock that at first. But anyway, starting from the bottom, we say it's a surprise. It's 12th place is Tom, the one who did the tartan.
Shocker.
So he unfortunately had some trouble. The color was a little dark, overbaked. So one of the big things that tripped up people, everybody put ground almonds in, which
Right.
makes sense because they
You
probably
would think.
like, oh yeah, the
Yeah,
almonds
yeah.
are here. I'm
That's
tasting
what I
almond.
wanted to. That's what I wanted to point out.
Yeah.
That not only did they give them extra ingredients that would
Crazy.
mess them up, they specifically said, Paul Hollywood was like, if they put the ground almond in, it's not going to let their
Yeah.
sponge rot.
Yeah.
So it's like, not only is it extra ingredients, it is an extra ingredient that will literally sabotage.
Yeah,
what you're
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
do.
It was
Yeah.
literally, it was sabotage. And they all, luckily, they all fell for it. So
Yeah.
it's like kind of an even playing field.
Sure.
But yeah, it's crazy. And it's like, yeah, you taste almond. I put almond.
Yeah.
But anyway, so 12th was Tom, 11th was Puimon.
Go ahead.
It just hit me. The way you probably should do this, and I definitely wouldn't have thought to do this on the day, is that you pull it apart and you taste each
Component
part
individually.
separately.
Yeah.
Rather than biting into
Yeah,
the whole
because
thing,
everyone
yeah.
was eating it together, which is why everyone. Because remember,
Oh.
the almond wasn't in the sponge at all. The almond
Right,
was only
right.
in the.
The
I
fondant.
thought they
the,
put a little in the sponge.
the
I thought it
fondant.
was a little bit of
The
extract
fondant-
in the
I
sponge.
think you might be
No,
right.
no, I think it was. I think it was the fondant, and I think it was the cream on top.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I knew it was
the
in something
sponge
else.
itself,
Got it.
the
Right.
sponge itself wasn't. So, like, if they would have peeled it off,
Right.
you
Right.
would taste the sponge and know nothing's in there.
That
but
is smart. Yeah.
everyone ate theirs normally, and I only know that because I watched them fail. I would have done the same thing. I'm like, I'm gonna just eat it and figure
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah, it's just a
you
nice
wouldn't
little
think
treat.
about
Why
that.
would you pull it apart?
Because also you're looking
Yeah,
at it, you don't realize there's
exactly.
so many components until you bite
Right,
in, and
right.
then you're like, oh shoot. And they didn't have a ton of time. They had like 5 minutes to kind of think
Yeah.
about it, and they took away it after.
That's the thing. It'd
They
be
couldn't
different
hold
if you
onto
could
it.
keep eating
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah, they took it away right after, and it was, and like, of course, Hassan goes like, "Oh, I didn't even eat the whole thing. What was I thinking?" It's
Yeah.
like, no, man, come on.
get your head in the game.
Yeah,
Paul
you
was
just have
making a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. Nerves in the tent. He's gone now. But okay. So we had Puimon who used the rose flavor, and again,
Right.
very tough. I would also
was
maybe
nuts.
think. I mean, yeah, definitely rose is like very, very striking of a flavor. So
The bigger sin to me was they were like, "Why'd you put rose in it?" And she kind of just went, "I don't know." I was like,
have a reason.
"Have an answer."
I see. I mean, I think the
Yeah,
color.
like you should say,
yeah.
because I feel like it's probably one of those things that when it's revealed to you, you're like, oh,
Yes.
Right, of
you feel even
course.
dumber to be
Oh,
like,
that's what it
Yeah.
is. Right.
you feel dumber to be like, I tasted rose.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Because
Which I feel like
yeah.
you'd be like, because they don't want to hear the what?
Right. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, you crazy person.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then 10th place was Hassan, of course, a little clumsy. 9th was Jasmine, a little small, ground almonds, as everyone did. 8th place, Ian, varied in size. He only had 8 on the plate too, but he got
Mhm.
8th with the 8.
Sure.
So not bad. 7th place was Nadia, too much icing. 6th was Leighton, color not bad, but it was kind of clumsy piping. Also used cherry instead of raspberry. That seems like a very common possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the difference at the end of the day? No,
Allergies sometimes.
Oh, oops, yeah. Sorry, life and death. My bad. 5th was Leslie with an abstract decor. Good color, ground almonds though. 4th place, Erin. Color was right. 2 tenths of a sponge. And then here's where we get into points territory. 3rd was Natalia.
Okay.
2nd, so she gets half a point for 3rd in the technical. 2nd in the technical was Jessica, doing great with a full point for that. Though she was very surprised to come in 2nd, which was really funny. And then 1st was Toby. Wow. I have Toby. What a surprise. He did have ground almonds, but overall got the look. He did really nice piping. I think he had a good consistency on that icing. And so he gets a point and a half for that. But Paul does stop the round of applause for him because it wasn't
It
good
still
enough.
wasn't that good.
Yeah, that was funny.
You saying Jessica did remind me, I missed this because I wrote my notes very badly. We did have one more person write in.
Oh, yay. Okay.
This is very late in the game, but it concerns Jessica. Potterpan Roshan wrote in and said, I just wanted to let you guys know that a group of my friends are playing along, but because we all know each other from roller derby, we all agreed that we would all share Jessica because we all wanted her.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, that was very funny.
Yeah, that's huge. And I mean, she does amazing this episode.
Yes.
So those points should be shared.
Yeah.
Not in our league, though.
She's all mine in our league.
Now Mike gets a lot of points. Okay, so moving on to the Showstopper Challenge. This is the final of the 3 challenges. We get to see some beautiful cakes. And the challenge is to make a landscape cake.
Never heard of it.
So cool. Yeah, I had to Google that, but I've totally seen them before. It's like,
Yeah.
when you make like a full map that's 3-dimensional and
I just never
topographical
realized
and-
that's what it was called.
Yeah.
But apparently neither did some of the bakers who just made like a cake that was sort of map themed instead of like a map shaped cake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess because I'm wondering where the line is. Is it
Yeah.
like, does it have to look like you're how close to the land, you know?
Right.
We zoomed out really far. But very cool. I just love a cake that has that like clear water, which a lot of them tried to do or
Sure,
did.
yeah.
I just think it looks cool. I doubt it tastes as good as it looks, but
I love a hand torn like a matcha green like sponge cake that looks like moss or grass. Do you know what I mean?
They did a great job with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
is
always
a
gets me.
good
That
way
gets
to
my
do
shit.
it.
You put some green
Interesting.
cake and some brown cake next to each other and tell me it's earth, I'm eating the shit out of that.
Oh, all right. Now we know. Now we know that important information about Mike. Okay. So Jessica, okay. So I'll start with just some like points getting, and then we'll go into the cakes. But Jessica, because she dedicated her cake to her neighbor Betty,
Boom. Points.
who has passed half a point. Hassan.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, and
from Betty, she brought
yeah. So I'm adding. I did
ingredient
half a
from
point
home
for that.
Yeah.
Is that what we decided? I also wasn't sure if we definitely did that. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I did put that in, but not till the end. I think.
I just want,
Oh, no, I'm now in
as
MasterChef.
my
I put a
baker, I
question
just
mark.
want it to be known.
I put a question mark by
It's a
that.
half
She
point.
did bring preserved apples from Betty, so we're gonna give her another point.
That's a
half
twofer.
a point for that.
I feel like it should be like
Pretty
double
crazy.
because if you're doing not only an ingredient from home, but an ingredient from home that was given to her by a dead person.
Pretty great.
Come on.
Well, you're already getting another half a point
All
for
right.
that
Yeah.
person, so you
All right,
did
I'm
get
not
a
gonna
full
be
point.
greedy.
You did
Okay.
get
You
a full
gotta
point.
know.
I'll make
Relax.
sure I did add that to the total later, so I'll double check that. But yeah, so a full point there.
Thank you.
Jessica getting lots of points. So
Thank
to you who are sharing her, good job. Hassan, they asked, have you practiced it? And he said, yes-ish. So 3 for 3 on completely losing faith in Hassan.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then, excuse me. Ian had a bit of a snafu with his cake falling apart.
This was the second time in the episode where I'm like, oh, God, watching anyone like physically use their hands to mush together cake. I'm like, this hurts to watch.
It's tough seeing it still. It really just
yeah.
wanted to. Yeah.
I almost fell out of my chair. I could not believe it. It was probably just watching it
Yes.
melt apart. I was like, oh, he's done.
It's
done.
visually
He's
comical. It
going
is
home.
laugh worthy.
That
It's very.
cake-
It's
yeah.
on par with like that bit in The Office where Kevin drops the chili pot.
Chili. Yes.
It's like a
Yeah.
masterclass in physical
Yeah.
comedy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a mix of like sadness and funny to a great degree.
Yeah.
But also, man, like when they were close on the cake and it was just falling apart on its own, I was
Yeah.
like, this cake is defying physics. It just wants to like explode.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was so surprised at how
Yeah.
much it
Yeah.
wanted to not be a cake. But he made it work, which
He-
is such a good sign for him. I think.
Yes.
World-class recovery.
Yeah.
Truly.
Louise.
Because the
Yeah.
judges
Thought he
were
was
like,
done.
go ahead.
Oh no, go for it.
I was just saying the judges were not only like, "Oh, I can see you recovered." They're like, "This is impressive."
Yeah, they
starting
never even mentioned
bar
it.
none. This is great, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Jesus."
All they said was a little too much icing, but that was it. And of course, he had to put a little too much icing to kind of cover some things. But like, yeah, oh my God, the
Incredible.
fact that he knew what to do, which was like, I'm gonna put some acetate around this,
Right,
put it in
and
the
freeze
fridge,
it,
and like
yeah.
pray to God. But like for sure, that shows some expertise. It
Yep.
shows some mental resilience.
Yep.
And yeah,
My
very
boy.
good, very good
My
sign
boy
for
Ian.
you. All right. We did get a Nadia helping out Leighton.
Yes.
So
Good
I get
catch.
a point for that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's get into the cakes. So Nadia did her Mauritius-inspired My Island Dream Cake. She did that cool sea that was tennis ball textured apparently, but looked really cool and stuck together, which some others did not.
Okay.
The cake was overbaked, but overall cool. And coconut, they love coconut apparently. Aaron did his Pastel Paradiso landscape cake, which was sort of inspired by Park Ciutadella in Barcelona.
Great Spanish pronunciation. I really heard the Spaniard in you.
Oh, thank you. España. It was a little unfinished looking, they believed, but it did look like his sketch or the
Sure.
sketch they did.
Yeah.
A lot of coconut was used, so they felt he needed a little lime or citrus to balance that sweetness, which makes sense. You often see those flavors paired. Oh, one more half a point that I forgot to mention earlier. Jasmine, shaky hand. She was
My hands are
She was like,
shaking.
I kind of have a shaky hand. It's making it hard. So that's the half a point for Jasmine.
Once again, my team,
Mike
thank
is
you
really
so much.
racking it up over here.
I know how to pick them.
Leslie. Oh, another half a point for Leslie because she actually dedicated her cake to her dad, which she did mention he is no longer with her.
Right,
Because,
okay.
Yeah, he passed away, but he used to have like a Bob Ross painting, and so she basically
That's
made
right.
which is really sweet.
It was
A
adorable.
Of the painting and the landscape, of course.
And
Bob
it did
Ross,
look very Bob Rossi.
yeah, known for his landscape. I know.
Great.
So really cute. So she gets half a point as well. They said looks amazing, delicious flavors are spot on. Yeah, she really got a huge I think she would have been in line if her other things hadn't worked had been better, but she just really knocked it out, even though, the other she wasn't necessarily in the top 3.
Right.
Puimon did her Hong Kong Lion Rock cake. They thought it was delicious. Liqueur maybe too punchy. Could have done maybe more. He was like, "Is this the lion? Could you do more?" But I was like, "It's not actually a lion. It's a rock."
Yeah. I thought that was weird too. I'm like,
But-
have you seen a picture of a rock?
But-
That should look like a rock.
But I'm like, maybe they want more cracks or something.
I guess.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I was like, I hope he
Yeah,
didn't think it's actually supposed to be a lion. Yeah. But yeah, sorry. What I know, Puimon is yours. Iffy, how are you feeling about her?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think, she's running out of time, but I'm never worried about, timing issues on the first episode of a competition cooking show. I always count that to jitters, but, the swing she's taking and where the hit she's getting with those swings, I can't be mad at it.
Agreed.
I mean, it looked gorgeous. They loved it. I also agree that I was scratching my head on the kind of statements about the lion rock where I'm like, dog, what? So
Right. It's a
Yeah,
rock.
yeah.
maybe yeah.
Yeah, no, and it looked really cool. Like I looked up what the actual lion rock looks like, and
Did it look like a big ass
It
rock?
does have, it's a lot of boulders.
Sure.
It's like big rock on top. and,
Yeah,
like,
I
green on
think
the
they wanted
bottom
more
and-
indentation.
Yeah,
Sure,
okay.
okay. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
maybe
fair.
a couple more cracks in that rock, but maybe this was when it was new.
Oh,
Jasmine,
speaking of animal rocks,
Here we
you
go.
don't know that where you get onto the 134 in Eagle Rock,
Yeah.
the Eagle Rock is that rock right by that kind of roundabout when you're going.
Really? Eagle Rock is named after an
and
actual rock?
yeah, no, this is there's a rock.
that
it looks like an eagle.
When the sun hits.
Oh my
Never
god,
known
I
that.
thought
It
this
looks
was
like an
common
eagle.
knowledge.
I had no
I mean,
idea.
I grew up near there, so I feel like
No, I had no idea.
okay. Yeah, so basically,
I've been living there for 4 years, and I just found that out because I
it's hard to miss.
looked up the meaning of Eagle Rock.
This is news to me.
Thing I was writing.
Yeah, so for people who don't know,
Yeah.
there's a neighborhood in LA named Eagle Rock, and there is a huge rock that's right near the freeway. You can see it from the freeway. Here's my Eagle Rock question.
Here we go.
It looks like it could be the head of a bald eagle where the beak is
Okay.
a ledge that
Sure.
looks like it makes it into the head of a bald eagle.
Okay.
Or it could be argued that the beak little indentation is the silhouette of an eagle flying.
Oh,
so
interesting.
that's what I was always wondering if people were thinking. I mean, I like it as a head
When
of a
I-
bald eagle.
When
But,
I looked it up, they said it's because of the shadow,
interesting.
not because of the rock.
Okay,
itself.
so I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I
No,
but
it's like,
I
you know
like
that
it
optical
better.
illusion that's like, is it a rabbit or a duck? Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's like that, but they're both eagles.
Yeah.
It's just how close you are to that eagle. But yeah, it's a real beautiful rock, and it's a good. It looks way more like an eagle than that rock looks like a lion. Just saying.
Yeah, that is true.
But-
I'll agree with that.
I'm going to
But
Eagle Rock
hey,
tonight.
yeah,
I gotta
make a
figure this
landscape
out.
cake.
Okay, sorry. Okay, keep going.
Okay, Jasmine did Scottish Highland landscape cake. So hers was sort of that 3-tiered thing with the mushrooms, which was kind of like not really a landscape cake.
Yeah.
So
And
they
look,
would have liked
on my
to see
team,
that
I love
more.
her, but I was like, were the
like,
instructions just not clear about what a landscape cake is?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can like make it more cartoonish or
Sure,
not.
I don't know.
But yeah, but they love the cardamom level and the pistachio. They really love the flavors, so that really put her over, I think. Leighton did the green grass of home was the title of his landscape cake. I was a little leaning,
Yeah.
which was funny.
And
it was
another
like
sort of just like a layer cake.
yeah, there was like a kind of a castle.
Yeah.
Good flavor, overbaked, a bit simple, but yeah. He's called it tent jitters for sure, tent nerves. Natalia did her amazing Ukraine landscape cake. It was really beautiful.
So good.
Rivers. They really loved the chocolate. It was kind of stunning.
Green cake, brown cake, torn up by hand.
Yeah,
looks
really,
like moss.
really earthy, beautiful.
Yeah.
Obviously a nod to her home. And Hassan did his Japanese bamboo forest landscape cake. I thought it looked pretty good.
I thought it looked good too, and they were like, "This bamboo isn't tall enough." I'm like, "Lay off of him!"
I know. They were like,
Leave him alone.
yeah, they were like, "Oh well, how come the bamboo doesn't have more?" It's like, well, what if it's in the season where it doesn't have leaves yet, and then it's gonna grow the leaves? And they're like, it looks like a bad dream or something.
You're so mean.
They're like, you're on your way out, buddy. We just gotta lay into it.
Yeah. We got to get through this episode. Get out of here.
But they said beautifully baked and spiced. Just the cream wasn't carrying much flavor, but yeah. So, he had one generally good one, I think. I really, yeah.
Grasping at straws.
My other guy, Toby, did his PB and Jacob's ladder
Cute.
landscape cake. A nod to the staircase in his hometown of Sidmouth. He did that Jelly Sea, which decided to depart, as he said. He was trying to make... The problem is, if you make a C like that, it's so fun if you can see the edge, but it does mean that it's going to fall.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of, maybe
it's like an infinity pool. It's like, it's cool, but there's a chance you're going to fall over the edge.
There's a chance you're going to go into infinity.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a bummer, but he tried. The cake was also overbaked, so not a big win for Toby. Jessica did her birthday morning landscape cake, which we discussed they really loved it. Stunning.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, and she got a couple points from that, or 1 point from that on top of what we will discuss her winning. And finally, Tom's Icelandic landscape cake, beautifully done, clean, sharp. I thought they were going to give him a handshake. They were like pretty thrilled.
There were a couple times I thought there was going to be a handshake this episode, but alas, didn't
happen. But basically, Paul said, "You're a good baker, Tom," which is pretty close.
Pretty close.
So yeah, really showing that he might be a front runner here. Okay.
Points us up, baby.
Points time. So, in the deliberation, they did say that in line for Star Baker was Natalia, Jessica, and Tom.
Yep.
So they each get a point.
Yep.
In trouble was Hassan, Toby, and Leighton. 2 of those are mine. And Star Baker goes to Natalia. Yay. So she gets 2 points.
Let's get it.
Well done. That's Iffy's.
Big money.
Going home is my top boy.
I'm
Hassan.
shocked. On paper, he was such a clear front runner to me. I'm
shocked. I'm shocked. I think it's just the nerves, and it's like I think that's why I was so disappointed when he was scooping up that cake in the beginning, because it's like if you start off bad,
you're not recovering.
Yeah, it's just tough mentally, and I think that can get you in the later ones. Yeah. So sad to see him go. He seemed like a nice guy. Everybody seemed to really like him, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to the actual points breakdown of everything in the episode. We had the technical third go to Natalia for 0.5 point. We had the technical second go to Jessica for 1 point. Technical winner was Toby for 1.5 points. In line for Star Baker was Natalia, Jessica, and Tom for 1 point. Star Baker was Natalia for 2. Helping another baker, Nadia for 1. My hands are shaken, Jasmine for 0.5 point. Dedicated to a deceased friend or family or animal, Jessica and Leslie for 0.5 point each. And somebody who brought their own ingredient was Jessica, her preserved apples from Betty, and that was 0.5 point. So to tally that all up, and let me make sure I am giving that extra 0.5 point for our new fun
Thank you so much.
thing, which is bringing your own. I believe I might need to add that in. Yes. So, wow. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Oh, wait a second.
Uh-oh.
I might have accidentally
Her spreadsheet's
named
broken.
these people wrong.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, you have okay. No, that's okay. It's okay. We're good. I switched 2 of you, so it's all good. I had
Okay.
Mike's team under Iffy and vice versa.
How dare you?
But it won't happen again, folks.
Unless he's in the lead, in which case, sure.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Quick math. We did it. Shout out to Google Sheets. Okay.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah, they're fine. We don't need to shout out. Okay, this week we had me gaining 2.5 points.
Okay. Solid.
Okay.
Solid outing for
Not
the first
bad
episode.
for how bad everything went.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
lose a guy.
That's okay.
So that's not great.
Plenty of time.
But 2.5 points,
Okay.
Iffy, you got, or sorry, actually.
God damn it.
It's Mike.
Okay.
Mike, you got 3.5 points.
Okay, 3.5's not bad.
Really
Pretty
good.
good.
Okay,
Really
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Especially because Iffy, you gained 4. So you are in the lead,
Let's
Iffy.
Go.
How did
yeah?
Iffy get 4?
Let's
Natalia.
go.
Natalia Starbaker.
Natalia got,
Yeah.
at least in line for Starbaker,
Starbaker. Leslie dedicated someone who's
Third
dead.
place.
and third place in
Third
technical.
Oh, okay. It was
yeah,
Natalia.
that's the big one. And
Wow.
then Leslie got half a point for
Right.
her dad.
Damn.
And then Mike, you got 3 from Jessica. But yeah,
Okay.
I guess Natalia ended up being the big score
Yeah,
because
yeah, okay.
Starbaker gives you 2. And then Jasmine got her shaky hands going for half a point.
Okay, all right. I'll take it. I'll take it.
But yeah, beautiful. Not too far off. Not as bad as MasterChef.
Which we are moving on to now.
imminently. All right.
Yes.
Yes, because we don't know
Okay.
much about next week.
Also, I will say,
Yeah.
this is a very genuine fantasy sports experience because right now I'm in my football league.
Uh-huh.
Hockey starts up in October.
Right.
There's going to be some overlap. I'm
There's
going to
some
be
overlap.
running my hockey teams and my football teams
That's
at the
right.
same time. So
That's right.
Right.
yeah.
That's true, and that's what we're doing now. We're going into hockey, aka MasterChef. So it's the semifinals, everybody. 4 more dishes stand in their way. 3 in the finale and 1 tonight. And that one tonight is Keeping Up with Gordon tag team style. In dynamic duos, they have to replicate one of Gordon's signature dishes, buckwheat crusted duck breast with parsnip puree, sweet and sour endive, and pickled daikon and cherries and port wine sauce,
It's a lot.
while he's cooking it tag
Yeah.
team style.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
5 minutes, they will switch. Have you guys ever eaten this before?
Not this particular dish.
Yeah, I don't know. I just said it was at his restaurant, so
Oh,
who
sure. I
knows?
know. I've had the beef Wellington. It is good.
Oh shit!
It fucks
yeah.
hard. It's
Oh,
really
boy.
good.
I mean, that's
You
the
had
thing.
the beef Wellington at his restaurant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Gordon Ramsay Steak in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I grew up.
Wow. Whoa. Michelle had some cool knife earrings on today. I don't know if you guys spotted.
Cool knife earrings and a little Wednesday Addams sort of French matey kind of
Oh, yeah.
shirt situation.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Very Wednesday.
I say this admiringly. I love the shirt.
It was great. Yeah, it was a good look to go out on.
Yeah.
Oops, spoilers. But yes. So,
Yeah.
So one from each team starts it off. We got Tina, Jesse, Julio, and Zach starting it off for each of them. We did get Tina saying Gordon goes so fast, so that's half a point for
Okay,
Tina
there
right
we
away.
go. How many people in total
Almost
get the he's going so
immediately.
fast up
Almost
there?
Honestly, just 2. And I'll get to the
Oh,
second
okay.
one we can discuss.
Okay.
So we get Jesse yelling buckwheat in a bowl. Really, he was yelling a
A
lot.
lot of yelling from Jesse.
Had to get that out.
Way too much. I was like, relax, dog.
Yeah, I agree.
He's always been pretty, high energy with that. So it's kind of funny seeing that. But
I did learn from reading the Zach
Oh, right.
AMA from Reddit, which we can come back around to.
We can get into it now.
Apparently, a lot of people on the subreddit of MasterChef in general don't like Jesse and Jessica. I didn't have enough time to do a deep dive into why, but that seems to be the consensus.
I would say out of the people who are left, they're probably the most controversial because they're a little more competitive.
Sure.
Obviously, he's yelling in high energy.
I like that. That's what makes them good.
Yeah, but it's like you kind of need one person who's adding a little acidity to
Yeah,
everybody's pretty
little
sweet.
spice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You would have
so-
thought it would have been Azu and Javier, but
They gone.
they gone.
They gone. Zach broke some glass.
Right? Yeah.
A little glass smash, but all is well. They're pretty stressed. And then Michelle. So here's where I was.
got cartoonishly nervous.
Oh yeah.
That man was nervous like a cartoon character, which was funny because it came right after all that hooting and hollering. And then the moment he got into the shoes.
Oh wait,
but
no,
I
this
will
is
say
Zach.
Zach
though.
was very apologetic.
Oh, but
yeah.
Zach was not yelling,
Zach was
right?
also,
Or was he yelling
no,
too?
no, he wasn't yelling, but he was also like, you got to go fast, you got to.
Sure,
He was
sure.
doing
Yeah.
the backseat.
I feel like
stuff.
Zach wasn't
And then-
yelling, but Michelle was acting like he was yelling because they have
She
that
would
clip
get a
they
little-
played a few times where
yeah.
she was like, "Oh my god, just stop."
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he was. Yeah, I think it's it's kind of funny. I feel like
Just.
Mhm.
Oh, I was just going to say the blanket thing that me and M kind of landed on at the end of this is that all the men were bad. Like it seemed like the moment they were in
Not
the
Julio. Julio does nothing but uplift and support his wife.
Yeah, Julio's an angel.
Yeah, you're correct. Sorry, I misspoke. Julio.
Not all men,
Iffy.
Yeah.
Who was doing like positive reinforcement.
Yes, yeah.
Like doing it. But truly, what the person on the side should have been doing was, instead of just repeating the shit that Gordon was saying,
right,
they should have been cataloging it so that when their partner's like, "What's next?"
Yes.
It's like, "Oh, it's this."
That is correct. That's correct.
But they were so busy just shouting faster. They're not even listening to Gordon.
Yeah.
So then the person will be like, "What's next?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know." And it's like, "Then what are you there for?"
Yeah.
No, I know. If anything, they're drowning out Gordon's instructions,
right.
or they're just causing more anxiety.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely felt like if you're more anxious on the sidelines, you're probably also just like anxious in the actual
real world
as well.
Oh, okay.
yeah, in the real world. But yes. So let's see. The one thing that I was gonna wonder. So Michelle did say, "Slow down, please." About Gordon. Does that count as he's going so fast?
Look, you're the commissioner.
No, the only reason, here's the reason why I argue against that.
Okay.
Is because the idea of he's going so fast, like if we think back to when Tina said it, it's just like almost like enamored, like, wow.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's observational. Where slow down, please, is like, I'm having a hard time. It's not, like, yes, he's going fast, but it doesn't have the same energy, in my opinion.
I'll agree with that.
Okay.
I'll agree with that.
That's fine. I mean, luckily it doesn't matter either way because I'm so far behind. But yes, that's totally fine. We will strike that from the record. Okay, next. Ooh, oh yeah, this was sweet. So speaking of Julio, Rachel and Julio talked about how they've been through so much: immigration, hurricanes, not knowing the language, losing jobs. Yeah. So they're just great under stress, and it really shows.
I want them to win so bad.
I mean,
now.
They clearly are able to operate in sync under pressure, and they did great here, as we'll talk about. So versus cut to Jesse, just put the bleeping flowers on there.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But pretty funny seeing the different energies, and clearly their tactic worked for them. So Gordon does his whole demo. Obviously, it's very stressful. They've got all pans firing. Then they only get 30 seconds after he's done to actually wrap it up. Let's get to these dishes. Rachel and Julio, they came in with their duck cooked a little over, glazed and seasoned.
Everyone cooked it over.
Everybody cooked it over.
This was the biggest thing that we were watching at home, where it's just like, look, if everyone in the class gets a C, it's the teacher's fault. Do you know what I mean?
Interesting. That's a good point.
That's always how I feel. And, okay, someone asked this on Zach's AMA, and they were like, did they cut open Gordon's duck? And Zach was like, no, they never did.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the thing that we were all talking about.
So maybe he left it in too long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're all following you. And if our ducks are all overcooked.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it almost didn't even matter how they cooked it.
The only reason I believe they got away with it, and it could have just been movie magic as to them doing this, but him specifically being like, "Oh, it's 30 seconds over," I was willing to believe, "Oh yeah, it felt like people were 30 seconds behind." Because especially when cooking duck and you're trying to get medium versus medium rare, that is usually the differential.
Right.
So to me, that I was like, oh, if you're lagging, you would be 30 seconds behind.
Yeah. Okay.
Or 90 seconds behind.
Right.
So that's the only reason I didn't go aha, because I'm like, oh, it is exactly that precise.
Yeah. Okay.
If you are trying to make something medium,
that is
so that's where I stood on that. But I kind of did go I don't know, dog. Yeah, everyone got it wrong, but I was like, oh yeah, but everyone was behind.
That's true. Okay, you're right. That's fair.
It's just that finicky.
Yeah.
Tina and Yvonne, this was the first time Yvonne's felt so unconfident, so I was worried about them. But, they generally did fine. Again, overcooked, but theirs was by 90 seconds, so a little bit more. Their glaze got too caramelized. So they were the only ones who were kind of missing some components. It was they didn't add the glaze, the flowers they missed on top. But, it was ultimately not that bad. Michelle and Zach, theirs was just the opposite. They put way too much on the plate. So it was excessive abundance, too much garnish, also not cooked right. It was more medium than medium rare. But to me, for them, it was about wow, they just really wanted refinement and they went the opposite direction. And that was their big crime.
Yeah. Which is you're this far into any competition, it's like you're splitting hairs. You know what I mean? It's like ultimately, I'm sure it tasted really good, but if you just compare it against the other three, and you have to be like, well, one of them looks a little bit sloppier. It's like, well, that's the one that's gonna go home. You know?
Right. It was like this kind of like this essence of like the dish. You know, you captured the essence of the dish. You didn't. You know, and they didn't. And then finally, Jesse and Jessica, theirs was overcooked as well. But their big thing was that they put like a heavy crack of pepper in the puree, and they were all like thrown off by the spiciness of it, which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And that was Jesse owned up to that as his mistake. So, you know, in the end, he was the culprit. He was his own enemy. But no, we find out immediately Rachel and Julio are the ones making it to the finals first.
Course.
They're the winners.
Of course.
They get a point for that.
Great.
Very good to see. Also in the finals going up was Jessica and Jesse. And then finally on the bottom, Yvonne and Tina. And we find out Zach and Michelle are going home. But they get to go home to their son. Of course, that's lovely. Back to the United States of America.
They get to go home and do a Reddit AMA.
Yeah, so excited. Any other Reddit AMA nuggets?
Okay, yeah. So I'm trying to think of what order to do this in. Okay, they didn't cut open Gordon's duck. This is a big one because you just mentioned this. They get to go back home to America. Zach was like, I can't say anything that'll break my NDA, but the show will be back in America next year. He was like, basically, this shooting in Australia was like a stopgap so that the show could get made. Okay. And next year it'll be back in America. So that's all the details that we have, but apparently no more Australia, which is good. He did say that Joe is the most... Joe's the most like sort of like articulate and creative with his feedback. Yeah. But he's like, but it's interesting because a lot of it doesn't make it into the edit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I do feel like he does come through with some good like nuggets to soundbite, you know.
Someone asked him what him and Michelle are up to now. This is exact response. I'm gonna quote it. We started a podcast called Disco the Podcast that helps demystify the frontiers of spiritual/energetic healing for people curious/new to that. We're working on growing that community and spinning a company out of it. So best of luck to Zach and Michelle on all of their spiritual, psychedelic endeavors.
That's not what I would have guessed, but kind of makes sense now.
Also, yes.
You know,
yeah,
like,
that's
who they are.
I had the same roller coaster of emotions. It was like, huh.
Like, whoa, it has nothing to do with food, but I could see that. Like, they seem a little like alternative couple, you know. Yeah. That's fun.
Okay, and this is the last thing I'll say. Sort of his big complaint was like, we do these like hour-long interviews. And I think that like part of what like the Redditors were saying was like, we don't get to, this season kind of sucks because we don't get to know you. Like not a lot of personality has come through. And he's like, I actually agree. We did these really long interviews. We poured our hearts out and like told our stories and none of it is in the edit. And this ties into the fact someone brought up like, is that what next week's episode is? Because they showed that the next week's episode is not the finale.
It's road to the finale.
Exactly. It's like it's bloopers, it's behind the scenes, it's outtakes.
Kind of a filler.
Yeah, exactly. And that was Zach's sort of thing. He's like, I think that's what the episode's going to be. I haven't seen it yet, but he's like, if you would have just taken those interviews and put them in the regular season, people would have liked everyone more.
Right.
And this wouldn't be such a weird fucking season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough because there's two per team, right? So it's almost like more about the relationship than it is about who they are, and maybe that's harder for people to like grasp, especially you know, Kevin and Trey. We'll never know. Maybe they'll talk about it in the road to the finale.
I'll say I didn't finish reading all the AMA comments, and I'm really hoping someone asks them about Kevin and Trey.
Oh my god, yeah. What's the deal with those guys? Okay, well, here's the points breakdown. Pretty low scoring episode, of course. He's going so fast up there. Tina and Yvonne get half a point for that. And then I'm just giving Rachel and Julio winner points because there wasn't really like
first one to the safety of the balcony. Yeah.
So they get a point, and that means that I gain 0 points. Mike and I have no more people left, so fun to spectate.
Done. Locked in.
Yeah, all done here with 9 points rounded out. Mike, you gain half a point.
Okay, solid.
Iffy gains 1 point.
Damn.
So we've got myself at 9.
All right.
Mike has 15 and a half, and Iffy, you have 17.
Oof.
Ooh.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's only a point and a half.
It's only a point and a half. Mike, you still have Tina and Yvonne who are going strong in the finals, and obviously Rachel and Julio and Jesse and Jessica are iffies. So we can see what happens.
Could get points in the blooper road to the finale episode next week.
Oh, that's true. We will definitely.
They could show an outtake
where they said, I never cooked with this before.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Or a protein gets thrown and I win.
Yeah.
You know, 10
Who knows? 10 proteins
get thrown. So, yeah, very exciting. So next week we'll check out that road to the finale, get those extra personality points for everybody. But yeah, so thank you for listening, everyone. We did a long episode
We
today.
did it. Thanks for sticking with us.
We will be continuing to cover, obviously, Great British Bake Off. We love it. And then more of MasterChef for 2 more weeks, I guess. And then we'll just be Great British Bake Off only. So thank you. If you like this podcast, share it with someone. But also, please go to MaximumFun.org/join, where you can support us for as little as $5 a month. It really helps us out. It keeps us going. We also have new merch at MaxFunStore.com. So please buy whatever you want. Treat yourself.
That's sort of just like in life. Buy whatever you want.
Yeah, buy whatever you want. Just, we're not going to be here that much longer. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, drop us a line on Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League and follow us. Or send us an email at chef@MaximumFun.org. Obviously, we always check our DMs and our emails. And you better check your emails, too, because we might be selecting you for the new Great British Bake Off point system. Check your emails. If you're doing your own MasterChef or Great British Bake Off Fantasy League with friends, please tag us and tell us how you're doing. For full unedited episodes, you can check us out on YouTube. Thanks again to my co-hosts, Mike Cabalon and Ify Wadiway. TV Chef Fantasy League is a Maximum Fun production. Our producer is Valerie Moffat. Our engineer is Gabe Mara. Our theme song is by Dylan Van Auken. Our artwork is by Sabrina Volante. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at TV Chef Fantasy League.